Hello, Frog fans. Welcome to Postgame Beers Podcast. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I'm your host, Kyle Malloy at YellMK on Twitter, joined by my co-host, Jacob Sailors at JD Sailors on Twitter as well. We've got our producer, Crazy Ray Cartwright. We've got the at Uninformed Frog. Martin Guerrero has just joined us.
Yeah, fashionably late.
That is timing right there.
That's a Chris Collinsworth slide in right there.
That is.
And we've got a special guest tonight. The first, it's our guy who first pitch in sandals, legend of himself. You know, Matt Perk. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Great
Appreciate
intro.
you being here.
Hey, I'm just glad to say that the curse has been broken. I've come on after a winning weekend. So
not just a winning weekend,
we swept.
Broomstick weekend.
We went three. We went three. I just wanted two, but we got three, so I'm happy.
Bro, we needed all three.
We have a second special guest tonight. Very short guest before bedtime. And she's going to talk about her experience at Lupton this weekend. If we can start the show off with that.
Okay.
It is my daughter, Lil MK, the same initials. We're going to stop there. So my daughter, I would like you to share your experience at Lupton this weekend, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Hi, my name is Kate.
Not
learned-
little MK.
I learned some of the nicknames of the TCU baseball players.
What
from
were
my
they?
friend Lane Sarlos.
What were
What were your favorites?
Chef Tony and Chat,
Who's chat?
Yeah.
Peyton Chatnier.
There you go.
And you say that better
Did you
than
meet any
any
of
of
the players
us
after the
do.
game?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I met Carson Bowen and Louis Rodriguez.
Oh,
Nice.
my
On Thursday
favorite.
night, huh?
Did you do the Easter egg hunt?
Did you enjoy your experience at Lupton?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Did
I
you
also, I did do the Easter egg hunt.
Did you win? All
Any other
right.
questions from
She's
the dude?
shaking her head. Yes.
Was there NIL money in those eggs?
No, there's candy and toys.
Okay. What's your
Now,
favorite? What's your favorite candy
Sour Patch Kids
for Easter or just in general?
in general.
Okay, I'm more of a chocolate guy myself. I don't know about sour. The Sour Patch Kids are all right, right?
Now, do you do the boring chant with Lane?
Yeah.
That's funny, right?
Okay. Thanks,
Nice.
Kate. Special
Wow.
correspondent.
Her handlers had to get her out of there to her next interview.
We're
All right,
paying her by
love
the
you.
minute.
Bye.
Good night.
Well,
And she's
special
off.
guest.
Brought to you
That's
by
funny.
Long Drink Non-Alcoholic. Pick some up at your local grocery store.
0.0s.
Brought to you by the Lupton Water Club once again. Jacob, before we get into the show stuff, we have a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of fun
I
stuff.
can't follow that up.
Yeah, right. But did you see the sweep special from Hell's Half Acre?
You know, I did. It's another drop, right? He drops a new design after every sweep.
Pretty awesome. That hellshalfacre.com if you want to go to /Lupton Drinking Club. But every time we sweep, it feels like he drops a new shirt, a new awesome thing. And tonight was the black jersey, kind of like block letters by the Frogs. You know, pretty cool new addition to the jerseys series this year. So that is on hellshalfacre.com. Thank you for the sponsorship. Really appreciate that.
I know I'm a little late, but let's pull it up. Just take a
Let's
glance.
go. And a
For
lot
all
of
those-
times,
For
whenever
everybody,
there's a-
hold on real quick. For everybody
Yeah.
watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. And your reward is you get to see the screen. We're showing the shirt right now. So yeah, Hell's Half Acre SG.com/Lupton Drinking Club. Go pick up your new arrival. See what else they have going on. Oh, this is nice. Haven't seen this one yet. Got the frog ball script. They got the throwback color scheme with
That
the
is
frog
sweet.
script. Yeah, nice design on the back. That's cool. I love this too.
Ooh,
Man,
that's nice.
you know
like
what
that.
my favorite thing is about Hell's Half Acre is not only is it like good stuff, but he's constantly dropping new releases. So you can like check it every day and you'll see something new almost. Oh, I'm not going to hold him to that every day, but you get the point.
Every hour. It's just a constant shirt. One shirt an hour.
Carson,
The thing about Steven too is I don't know if anyone cares who's listening to this because they probably already know him, but
Scuba.
he's at the games. He cares about TCU baseball, and he's doing drops after sweeps like this. So
Yeah.
definitely a good place to not only obviously give back to our athletes because part of that, what 10% goes back or more goes back to the athletes, but he cares about frog ball, which is cool.
yeah, it is cool that it's not just, some company out there in, Cincinnati, Ohio or something that's making merch for all the schools. Like this is our guy. He's in our backyard.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's just say they don't have a home field advantage or they're not hustling like Charlie. This is quality stuff.
As soon as we get an email from Home Field, we'll be sponsoring that crap. Like,
Oh yeah. We can be bought and the price is low.
The inbox is open. Inbox is open for
Yeah.
all
DMs
partners.
are open.
Yep.
for all of us who never had chances at NIL. Yeah.
I will wear painted logos all over my
Yep.
body.
Kurt, did
Yep.
you ever get NIL under the table?
Nope, not even a little bit.
Oh. Was
Not
your
even a
per
little
diem your NIL money?
No per diem.
No
What
per
about,
diem.
What was your training table? What did that look like?
Peanut butter that we had to actually no. We got peanut butter. We had to bring our own jelly and bread.
You're kidding me.
It was
Damn.
at that point it was still against they couldn't feed us. So like they could
Yeah.
offer us the peanut butter, but we had to bring the jelly and the bread.
Shut up.
Dude, I didn't know
We
it was
need
that
to
bad.
have Meredith on with you, Perk, and talk about
No, we don't.
TCU
No,
baseball.
we don't. We
back
don't.
then.
No. I won't be. I'll be unavailable whatever day and night that you schedule that because Meredith, as like I said, and I will give those. She calls me princess, and I earned that. I earned that nickname. I earned it because I was an 18-year-old and I had a little bit of prima donna in me, and I earned it.
Okay, so this week's guest will be Meredith from,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
from Operation.
We always thought wide receivers were the divas on a
She knows where
college.
the bodies are
Dude.
buried. She knows where the bodies are buried.
I
Dude,
feel
even
like
in high school, I couldn't stand the pitchers I played with in high school. I couldn't imagine college.
So
the Princess Talks pitching is a pretty good name for the episode.
we can get that. We can get that together.
Man, that's funny.
Oh,
Done.
Hey, we're in a good mood, right, boys? We're in a
we
good
are
mood.
a
Dang
little
right.
bit better than the previous couple weeks.
I'm not going to lie to you. I did not want a podcast last week. Flat out.
I
had to be a professional,
Yeah.
Literally everybody could tell, Jacob.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true because I'm a professional and I brought it, baby. I brought it.
Did you?
Yeah, I brought it. Go watch the tape. Google me.
I did rock in high school. Want to check tape?
Feel like we have a few things to talk about. Our game recaps are going to be short, as always. We try to get those short, and then we
Are
have
they
some bigger
short?
stuff to talk about. We've got maybe some injury updates just to chat about.
We
what's
tried to
going
make
on.
them short, and then they end up being 3/4 of the episode.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing.
because of the
What
guy
I-
that just talked, Ray, because
Yeah.
you have 17 points to make about the recap.
You dang right. Stuff was happening.
Yeah,
People
it's
need to
not
know.
about. What I mean by that is, I'll briefly say a couple things and then let us fly on kind of what
Yeah.
we thought was interesting for each night. We do not have a Tuesday night game to talk about. All right, so we only have 3 recaps, but I think it's interesting to talk about pitching. All right, that's a big thing we want to talk about tonight, as well as just what do we think about the Big 12? Right, it's kind of a
Mhm.
mess right now, and
Yeah.
Jacob's done a little bit of research on what that looks like. Not only for the entire conference, but also what it means for the Frogs.
I will
And-
spoil the ending of the season for you. Stay tuned.
But you know what? We did this last year. Every weekend we talked about what does TCU need to do to win the Big 12.
Mhm.
And we've had actually the worst start in the Big 12 that the Frogs have ever had. So why not talk about what they can do to possibly change that tune? But we're going to start with Thursday night, the game one.
Hey, MK, before we start,
Go for it, Ray.
how about Coach Bruce promising everything, delivering on everything that he promised on last week's episode?
I
More
think he
details,
promised like
please.
not one thing.
Yeah, more
He
details, please.
promised and then delivered.
Well,
Yeah,
I
all right.
mean-
We can give him credit, I guess.
it was funny when Jacob, I think, didn't you make a comment about, getting 10 runs every game or something? They didn't
Well, I
exactly
said-
do that. They
I
didn't
said
exactly do that, but they went crazy on Thursday night. So
Yeah, no, I said if it wouldn't shock, like last Monday, I said in 7 days, if we're not back here talking about how they put up double digits against Houston, it wouldn't surprise us at all. So not to spoil your recap, MK, but take it from there.
yeah, thanks for giving away the ending.
Yeah.
Houston visiting Lupton for the first time in the Big 12. Louis Rodriguez, he is, after a limited start in Stillwater, gets the start on Thursday night, which was kind of fun due to weather in Stillwater. So he only got a couple innings there, so he was fresh. He got the ball, and did he take advantage? He went 8 full innings, only gave up 3 hits, allowing 0 runs on the night. Longest start of his career. And no, the Frogs did not win 1-0. They actually had some offense and gave him some support. That was awesome to see.
Yeah.
The highest run total, the highest hit total, the most RBIs, and the most doubles of the entire year so far. They scored 14 runs on 21 hits. Awesome to see. They didn't actually start on fire. It was not, no runs through 3 innings, but after that, they scored in every inning. There was a new lineup that was kind of the pregame buzz, like, between us, like, hey, wow, Chase Brunson's leading off. Peyton Chatnier is in the 9 hole. Like that, there were some things that changed. So that was kind of fun to talk about ahead of time. But every starter had a hit. We had guys coming off the bench like crazy because of how many runs they scored. We saw, Fisher Ingersoll, Gabe Miranda, Dallin Leach, the general from the transfer. That was
How
great
about
to
that?
see. He came
How
up
about that?
1 pitch,
Wasted
hit
no
the double.
time.
I mean, it was just so fun. It was
Just
it
a
was
rope.
It obviously was fun, exciting. I feel like they were kind of exercising some demons on the night.
Yeah. Let's start with Lewis. How about 10 strikeouts, no walks? Man, he mowed through them. 8 innings, set us up for the weekend. Really nice. He had no issues whatsoever. Were you surprised he didn't come back for the 9th? What was he?
I was.
89 pitches?
I was surprised.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but given
I'm not really surprised.
I mean, it can go both ways, right? Like he hasn't really been stretched out like that, but I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Zach Morris came in.
You're up big. Let him end on a positive note. Hey, yeah, the complete game. That's cool. Let's get some feel goods going later on into the season.
How about the lineup changes? You had Brunson at the top, followed by Ryder. They went 5 for 10 on the night. It was good to see, them shaking it up.
Sauce.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there.
Sauce.
Hold on. I'm getting there. But it was, you can mix in sauce and say, it was good to see Kurt kind of mix things up a little bit. Just try something new. Why not? What do you have to lose, right? And it paid off.
It's exactly what we talked about, though, as far as what we wanted to see. Changes in the lineup and an effective offense, dude. Like Sauce, golly, he was based 3 times himself and had his first career hit. So
Yep.
It's literally exactly what we were talking about wanting to see, the changes we wanted to see them make, and then they executed on it.
Yeah. I don't know. What else can you say about this game other than they did what they needed to do?
Perk, any concerns from the pitching
hits,
side, whether he went too long or maybe should have gone full 9 innings?
No, I think it's good. I think I lean more towards that he hasn't been stretched out, and why waste bullets in March when you're going to need them in June? With that kind of lead, let's get somebody in there. and just get the last thing you want to do is have him go back out, not be able to finish the game, have to bring somebody in. And then if that doesn't go well, you got to bring somebody. It can turn a domino. Like I've seen it happen before where it's like you send a guy out there and the reliever that comes in after him is not ready. And then it's like, so then you end up burning more arms than just sending somebody out to get the 3 outs and be done.
Yeah, it's a really good point. But how about Lewis in the starting rotation? We talked about
He's got
earlier.
He's in there. Like it's lock it in.
For sure.
You're gonna, and it's like, and he may be taking a spot of somebody you don't want him to take.
Yeah,
we're gonna get there.
We talked about earlier in the season that the rotation as it was with, who was it? It was let's see, Klecker and then Zach Morris, right?
Yeah.
And then you had Ben Hampton on Tuesdays. We talked about, how that may not be the best rotation that they can absolutely throw out there, but if you're winning with those guys in the rotation, why, show all your cards this early in the season? Well, now we're to the point where it's time to put the cards on the table, right? So you have Lewis in the rotation. He was awesome in relief, and we knew it was just a matter of time before he comes in and takes a starting role, and he's taking it and run with it. So that's really great to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got to be a cog. And he, to me, if I'm being honest, needs to slide into that second game role because you need that guy to be your innings eater. And so he's got the stuff and I think the ability to be that innings eater. We cannot have 4 inning starts on Saturdays. We just can't.
No. And we have enough of a sample to know, can changes happen? Sure. The next pitcher we talk about is a good example, but I think what you are right now is what you need to say is going to be the projection for the whole season. So, but yeah, we'll talk about Tolley and Klecker on these next games. So anything else from this game?
No, but I know we're getting ahead of ourselves because what you just said was you believe he will probably be the Saturday starter after Tolley on Fridays.
I think he should be. I mean, that's just the way I look at it again, because that's your anchor.
Yeah.
You can't have a short start on Saturdays because you don't know what you're going to burn out on Fridays to win a game. And then if you follow that up, so say Peyton goes a hard fought 5 innings and you run 3 relievers out there for Friday to finish a game. You go into Saturday, you get a 4 inning start. You're stuck. Sunday is going to be tough. And that's the guy. So he's got to be your anchor. Every great team, and we can go back and look at them that got to Omaha, has had an anchor on Saturday. They
Correct.
just have. And that's what you need to have, is somebody that's going to be dependable. You know what you're going to get, and you're going to get 6+ out of them every time.
Last note I have on this one is, I'm sorry, do you have something to add to that, Garrett?
No, I was just going to say he's also working in new pitches this year as well, and it's working out really well. That could be, Matt, you know more better than any of us. I imagine that could be a nerve-wracking thing, working in new pitches, and he's doing it to great effect.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what you want to see, is you want to see growth. And that's the part where it's like, when we get to the next few names, it's like, where's the growth from year to year? And that, for him, you're seeing the growth. Now, I will say one note, non-related to pitching. I fear that this may be the first and last time that Todd Whitting comes to Lupton as a visiting team. So,
Yeah, I have some HSOs on Houston once we finish the Sunday recap.
Oh no! Okay,
it's unfortunate because of how much good he did in that stadium.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out too, Antoine Jean was Houston's Friday night guy. 4 innings pitched, 4 runs on 9 hits. It's good to see TCU's offense touch up a Friday night starter.
Yeah, for real. He's 2-2 now, but he's no slouch, dude. He's one of their better dudes.
But I mean, even if you talk about other, like, if we could redo that Kansas series, you would say, like, you wish you could get to the, I don't know, their Friday night guy is pretty good. I don't know if that's the best example, but maybe Oklahoma State's Friday night guy, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you'd like to have a redo on that one, maybe touch him up a little bit, set yourself up, better success through the weekend, getting into their bullpen a little earlier. So that was good.
Absolutely.
Martin, did you have any notes on Thursday, the first game that we missed?
Yeah, so being in Oklahoma when it was raining and that was supposed to be Louis' first start of the year, he was fucking pissed that he did not get to pitch. And he kind of showed it against Houston. He really took his anger out on them. It was really something to see. He's got like 5 pitches and like 3 of them are plus. He's got the cutter 2-seam. He's got a slider that works really well with the cutter. And then he's got a nice curveball and a changeup. And that's repeatable stuff. Like he fills up the strike zone. He doesn't walk anybody. He gets a lot of strikeouts. Like this dude is amazing pitcher, and he's probably built to be the most consistent guy, like Perk was saying.
Yeah, agreed.
Nice.
All right.
Couple
that
of,
adds up.
before we get off of this game, a couple
Right.
notes. First time TCU has not walked a single batter since Arkansas of last year.
Nice.
So first time this season.
Love that.
And offensively, they only struck out twice, and they
good point.
drew 5 walks.
Yeah, the 2 strikeouts is the impressive number there. I like that.
I want to shout out Richie Roman, third pitcher, I think, for Houston. He somehow gave up 6 earned runs on 5 hits and a walk and didn't record a single out. So shout out to his ERA.
Ooh.
Respect.
That's an infinity. That's what that
Yeah.
number is. It's an infinity.
Yeah.
All right.
Not going to help. Okay.
Game 2.
On to Friday.
Frogs come into Friday, game 2, hoping to win their first Big 12 series of the year, which, sad but true. Peyton Tolley on the mound after a week of multiple national honors that were thrown his way for his complete game shutout at Oklahoma State. Frogs grabbed an early lead in the third with the help of hits from Chatnier, Brunson, and Logan Maxwell. Brunson actually brought in Chatnier again later on in the 7th, so his second of 3 RBIs on the night. Awesome to see him doing that well at the leadoff spot. So definitely, and a bonus, to get 3 RBIs when you're the first batter there. But
Yeah.
the Frogs carried a 6-0 lead into the 9th, and Tolley was still on the mound at this point. He went 8 2/3 innings. Gets pulled because the Cougars were kind of getting a little frisky. They were not going away, so we brought in Zach Coyer at the end. Finished the game. Frogs win 6-2. We will talk about pitching in a second, but I want to start with the offense. What struck out to you guys from an offensive standpoint?
Luke Boyers, 3 for 4.
Yeah,
Really,
for sure.
really, one game is not going to solve all the offensive problems. So Luke Boyers coming in and, contributing like that is a big lift. Peyton Chatnier out of the 9-hole, 2 hits. And then Logan Maxwell staying hot. He missed, we talk about the struggles all the time. I think we kind of overlook Logan. He's not hitting for a ton of power, but damn, is he getting on base every game?
I think it was a good move to move Chatnier down, take pressure off. When a guy's struggling and he's up in the top of the lineup, that pressure adds up more because he's knows that he has to start the offense and get it going. So when you get him down, he gets relaxed, he gets some hits, then you move him. That's why you see that fluctuation with those guys at the top. You can plug them in and out because of just how that translates to what they're thinking. And I think Jacob made a good point and asked about confidence with TJ Bruce, confidence. When you get games like the Thursday night where you put up a bunch of runs and everybody's trying to hurry to the bat rack to get an AB, that translates and moves into the next, and then you see that domino effect. So I think
contagion theory.
Yeah, and I think moving him down takes the pressure off of him, and it just allows him to be reactive. You know what I mean?
And then how about Brunson too, who was kind of struggling, hitting in the bottom of the lineup, hopping into that leadoff spot and saying, "All right."
Yeah, he knows his job is to see pitches and get on base. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what guys need is a simple task of hey, your job's not to drive in anybody. It's literally see pitches, get on base.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice having Brunson as that table setter. It's just nice to have guys on base for Logan Maxwell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, if you told me that from when Logan Maxwell started at TCU, that was going to be the narrative later in his career, I would not have believed you.
Yeah.
I would not have believed you, but that is where we are.
The Logan hater on the pod tonight.
No Logan hate, just that was not Logan's plan when he came in. That was not the plan.
So obviously, this didn't affect Chatnier at all, but isn't it kind of strange that he went from 1 or 2, I guess, to 9? I feel like that could have affected his confidence in the opposite way, but instead it just boosted it.
Well, I think when you the leadoff hitter, then your kind of secondary option in the lineup is a 9-hole, is kind of like the backup leadoff guy, so to speak.
Leadoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you saw this all the time with Eli.
The same thing with Eli.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, some college pitchers are real dum-dums and they think the bottom of lineups, they can just throw fastballs. and like they don't need to and they don't pay attention to the bottom. They just think I just got to worry about 1 through 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, or I can just go at. And that's just not. I mean,
well, and that's helped Luke out in his career too. When he struggles kind of in the top half of the order, dropping him down to the bottom third, he sees a lot more fastballs. So, and
dude, I can't believe between this game and the Thursday game, Luke had 6 hits.
Yeah,
that is, man, good for him. Good for him. And Silva was back.
Dude, he gets it. Like we've obviously been critical of his overall play, but he gets on heaters.
Yeah,
streaky.
So Brunson, Maxwell, Silva, Boyers, and Shetney all had at least 2 hits. You already talked about Boyers with 3.
Yeah, we're overlooking Silva a little bit. He had a good game on Thursday too.
That's right.
Yeah, he's totally back on track.
I hate to say we're overlooking him because it's almost like the expectation, but he has consistently been good in most games this season. So we're going to pump past him because we kind of hope that he's going to have 1 or 2 hits a game. Let's move on to the pitching. Tolly, here's my question for Perk. Hoping this is a realistic, thing to think about, but should we expect a complete game shutout every time he touches the mound?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So was Friday a failure?
It was. It was.
No joke. I'm sure he thinks of it that way. Like I didn't get the job done.
He's pissed. He's pissed that he came out again. He's pissed.
Well, he ran out of gas though. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think. I mean, he didn't have any in the tank when he went back out there.
What was his total pitch count he threw?
127.
Shoo, daddy.
Yeah. I know we're going to talk about this. I don't love back-to-back 120 plus games, but then again, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Then again, I also really enjoy 13 strikeouts.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was 1 out away from back-to-back pitcher of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell, he may still win it with 8 2/3, but man, I mean, complete game shutout followed by complete game shutout. That is Preston Morrison stuff.
Breaking news: Luis Rodriguez was named pitcher of the week in the Big 12.
Yes. How soon I forget? Yeah.
It's the expectation with Lewis, just like with Silva. We expect nothing less.
13
we
strikeouts.
expect no bullpen usage going into Sundays.
Perfection, gentlemen.
All right, I know we're beating around the bush here because we're making jokes, but I don't know if anybody was thrilled that he was pushed that far. So what I want to do is throw out that question to you guys and let you fly about the fact that he was, I mean, they let him go again, which the first time at Oklahoma State, I think we were all on board. Let's see it. Let's go. Let's do this.
We needed it, man. We needed that win.
Absolutely. But
there's a huge difference between a 1-0 ball game and a 6-1 ball game.
After Lewis goes 8, and then you have Zach for an inning, Peyton's going almost the full game. It's a fresh bullpen. I don't know. We're going to find very, very few things that are critical of this team this weekend, but I think this is one of them. What do y'all think?
Yeah, Perk, start with you. Like, what's your overall take?
I wasn't in favor of it. I understand it. I understand from a coaching standpoint of why it happened. He definitely didn't say he didn't want the ball. He 100% said it. But in my opinion, that's the time where you say, hey, I respect the fire. I expect the competition. We need you in June. You threw 127 last week. And I told you guys, I texted you like in 2 weeks, based on throws, even at a conservative amount, he's made 400 plus full action throws, whether that's warm up, in between innings, or live action in 2 weeks. That is a ton. That is a ton, and it's not a sustainable thing. Now, again, he's going to want the ball. He's never going to say, I don't want it. Every athlete does it. Been there, done that. I was that guy. I'm not coming out of the game, yada, yada, yada. We gotta look out for what we need later on. I mean, that's just the truth. Because an extra 25 pitches in March means one less inning in June, and one less inning in June means we don't get to go to Omaha.
But counterpoint to that, not necessarily a counterpoint, just a question, but what if he just has that capacity in him? What if it doesn't mean one less inning in June? What if we just get to the end of the season and we're like, man, Tully still has 10 more innings in him?
I mean, but who in recent history that we've had that's done that? I mean, as great as Preston was doing it 89 pitches.
Yeah.
Preston wasn't
And
going
with much
130.
less effort.
Right. And it's just it's to me, it's just a matter of, and I look at it too from a twofold, like, we're still in maybe the time has shifted now to where now he's a pitcher, right? We look at him just as a pitcher. We don't look at him from an offensive standpoint, but I look
Right.
at it from a potential of a two-way guy. 127 pitches on any given night, that's going to put you in a place for recovery.
Well, even if he's not in the lineup, he's probably still taking BP, getting reps in the
Right.
probably not in the infield, but
Yeah.
he's still getting offensive reps.
Yeah. Like, I understand it last week. It's a 1-0 game. It's 6-1. We got to have somebody that can get 3 outs before 5 runs. Have to.
Was he
Kirk, I
going
have
that
a-
long at regular intervals last year? Does anybody know?
I don't think so. I don't
No,
think
probably
he
not
was.
that long.
I wouldn't think so either.
There hasn't.
Kirk,
I mean,
question.
I'd be hard pressed for anyone to find, and maybe Martin would know better than I would, any like legit D1 starter that consistently threw 110 plus. And
Boy,
was
those SEC guys
Braden,
can rack up the
No,
pitchers.
Braden Montgomery.
Stanford.
Braden Montgomery from Stanford.
Okay.
But that was in
him?
this.
I thought it was a lefty guy.
I don't know if he was righty or lefty.
I think-
Isn't Braden Montgomery the guy who transferred? to
Oh
Texas
yeah.
A&M?
That-
Yeah, that's
okay,
a different guy.
I know.
You're
but
thinking of the
Stanford
right-handed
guy.
pitcher that threw, but he didn't do that all year.
No,
That
no.
was just in relief
Well,
that one weekend.
I think
Kirk,
there's I think there's several guys in the SEC, like some of these Tennessee guys. What are Hagen Smith's pitch totals?
not
know,
high.
Are there not? So he's striking out 16 on like 90 pitches.
I really don't think so. I mean, again, like that 110 number is kind of the magic number. Like, once you get past that, that's kind of like when the alarms go off. Now, I will say this: if we want to look in recent history, the only one that comes to mind is Kevin Copps from Arkansas when Van Horn did him a disservice, sending him out there that much.
So last year he
Question.
pitched over 100 pitches 7 times, but never. Well, once he threw 111. The rest were less than 110.
I mean, 110 is a good number. You can sustain that. That should be sustainable for the season. But 120 plus, it's because the thing is, it's not the fact that like he can't do it. It's when you get to that point, your body is no longer, you're running out of gas. We always say the tank is empty. When the tank is empty, you're compensating at a much higher rate than you are when it's not. And when you compensate, that's when when you tweak stuff, that's when you get strains. That's when it's just, you put yourself in a place where the body's just stretched to its limit and it's still pushing because you're a competitor. Like, he's not going to throw 90, right? He's not going to throw 85. Like, his body's going to still try to generate a high velocity, even though he's stretched to the limit.
Martin, not to put you on the spot, but do you have any kind of rebuttal or additional points?
Well, before coming into it, I did think, like, who cares? We always say we trust Kirk, and what's the point of saying that we trust Kirk if when he actually does something weird, we're gonna freak out about it? But Perk does make a great point about, these guys, like you said, Tolly's not gonna tone it down and throw 85. He's gonna go as hard as he always goes when he's out of gas. So yeah, that is a great point.
Cool.
Question: how does this show up? These amount of pitches, you say about 400 over the last 2 weeks. How does that show up over the next couple of weeks?
I mean, you look at it, the signs for it are going to be obviously, like, if he trails off stuff wise, like say we come into next week's start and he looks like he hits a wall, that's going to be part of it. Or also, off speed is usually pretty indicative of where you're at and how you feel. If it becomes real loopy and becomes less sharp, that's typically from soreness or being tired or whatever. Because that's fastballs, they're pretty much singular. You're going to be able to throw a good fastball most of the time, even if you feel bad. But those off-speed pitches, because they're such a feel one, that's the ones that are hard to keep sharp.
Then I guess it's good he's like 90% fastball.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm going to
I
blame.
want him to throw more off-speed, to be honest.
I'm going to blame any insufficiencies on Skyline Chili and not really listen to anything you just said. So,
Do you think
they're traveling.
him, coming in as a two-way guy, and then like these last 2 weeks that he has, gone the distance, he's not in the lineup. Do you think as a coach they see that and they're like, oh, he still has more in the tank?
I think, and I've been wrong many a times, and I will be wrong again. I think he's now a pitcher.
Okay.
I think he is. I truly think maybe he gets some pinch hit ABs here and there, but I think they're looking at him as a pitcher now because they have to have some, like, he's got to be an anchor on Friday nights. He's got to be able to compete against the top end starters. And he just hasn't shown us to the level. And is that indicative of him being in the Big 12 versus being at Wichita State? Maybe. Or is it just the actual wear and tear of guys over their career doing it? You know what I mean? Like we talked about the kid from Stanford, like, he's not, like there's a reason why guys don't do it very long. Like that's just, there's a reason, because it's so hard on your bodies to be able to be high functioning at both.
Right.
You're saying you don't believe in Jackson Day's over of 30 home runs on the year? Is that
No, that was Martin's over.
Is that
Yeah,
Martin
that
first?
was my over.
Okay.
Martin, you're well behind pace. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know.
I feel like I'm well
I was
behind,
crunching.
and I said 17.
Well,
We
yeah,
were-
no, we said
We were wanting our pitching staff to have more than Baylor.
yeah. No, we said over under 20, and we took Ray and I took the under, but said if he hits around 17, that's still a phenomenal season. He's obviously not on track for a phenomenal offensive season, but what he's doing on the mound is extremely necessary right now.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else from that game?
I will say in his post-game interview after the game, he did say he was, quote, tired and sore.
Don't love
As,
that.
one can expect after throwing that much.
Well, good thing he's young. I'm sure
So he's going to hit the recovery pool.
Yeah.
I was
Hard
going to
to
say,
speak.
those are
Play
the
some
first words out of my
Fortnite,
mouth
get some
every
sleep.
day. All right. Y'all ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's do
Good
it.
thing you're 21. Your arm's fine. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
exactly.
it. So you don't need it. You don't need it when you're
Yeah.
30. It's good.
Keith Law hates it, but
Oh.
it's all right.
Don't get me
Have
started
some
on
kids
Keith.
and get a job,
Yeah.
idiot.
We could have a whole episode about Keith.
Oh, Keith Law loved you.
Him and I.
You were his poster child.
Yeah, him. And there's a certain DFW sports reporter that.
Oh, I
he
know
and-
exactly what you're talking about.
both of them. I can go. I can go.
Maybe
I
that'll be
can't
for when we start our Patreon. We'll get you on for that one.
Yeah, that'll be the off-season filler.
Is
Yeah.
it the Skip Bayless of DFW Sports? A writer for.
I will say this:
local
I'm very
paper?
I'm very thankful that Brandy Davidson did as phenomenal job as she did, because she knew how I felt, and so she did a lot of good. Work with keeping a big time buffer to make sure that nothing went down.
MK. Perk
Shout
looks
out
like
Brandy.
MK. Perk looks like he needs a long drink. What can you help him with that?
Quote unquote from Matt Perk, I'm tired and sore. And what's going to help you with that, Matt, is we've got some long drinks. I'm holding the peach right now. I love this guy. Ray's got the zero sugar citrus. Garrett came over. We shared some long drinks before the game on Friday night. And fellas or ladies, if you haven't had one, I want you to go out to Specs or wherever you buy your drinks and grab some. So my wife went to Round Top this weekend. Not sure if you've heard of it. Close by to Austin. Do some antiquing. Go to some restaurants. I sent her with a couple packs of long drink, and guess what? They loved them. So it's not just a dude's drink. Everybody likes this. Very refreshing.
No, and pool season's coming up. The weather's still nice enough to get out there and golf. The long drink goes, in any situation, but especially those kind of chilling, having fun vibes at the pool, or before a TCU baseball game at the golf course. Pick you up some long drink. Give it a shot.
We will have. We would like to have a tailgate this year at some point with long drink with Hell's Half Acre, and we'll make sure to hype that up to get you guys out there.
Yeah.
So thanks for KR for sponsoring us.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the second half and game 3.
Yep.
Beautiful day in the Fort on Saturday. It was awesome outside. Frogs looking for their first sweep since UCLA, and it turned out to be the closest game of the week. Klecker was on the mound and made it look very easy the first 4 innings, which I feel like has been a trend for him the whole year. 3 to 5 innings looks very good, and then things kind of fall off a cliff there. In the 5th, here's how it started: hit by pitch, single, double, fielder's choice, another single. So before you know it, the Cougars were actually winning the game at that point, 3-2, and that's when Caden Parker came in to relieve him. Fans were a little antsy. I'm going to be honest. We were there on Saturday, and it was kind of like one of those like, okay, what are we going to do here? We feel like we should have this series, swept. But the Frogs took over in the 7th inning. But it wasn't necessarily their doing. It was wild pitches. No. It was walks. It was steals, just taking advantage of Houston mistakes left and right. They didn't really win the game. It was Houston that kind of just gave up the game. And Houston out-hit TCU on the day 8-2.
Yeah.
But the Frogs won the game, 2 hits on the day. They would hold the lead 6-4 into the 9th and win the game. So after Klecker, you saw Caden Parker. We had Ben Abelt and Zach Coyer all pitched collectively and only gave up. They gave up 0 runs after that. So it was great to see that. Frogs win, Frogs sweep. We're in a good mood. I think there's a couple things to talk about as well.
I was watching this game, and they get up 2-0, and they'd already won the first 2, and I'm feeling pretty good. And then Houston takes the lead, and I wasn't necessarily worried per se, but you could definitely see some of those habits from the earlier Big 12 series coming back in. And I started to think what a nut kick it would be to win the first 2 and then just have a repeat of the garbage that we saw against, Oklahoma State or, those past series, and then have to come in here and talk about, well, are we happy or are we not? They got the series win, but now thank God Houston sucks. Sometimes you just have to be the second worst team on the field.
So we were absolutely heading in the direction of having that exact conversation, Jacob.
I know.
If we're all being honest with ourselves, we probably should be. But like you said, thank God Houston's just played terrible. And you take advantage of the mistakes, which credit to TCU, they took advantage of mistakes. But come on, man, 2 hits. They shouldn't get it done.
I was chatting with the Gambling Gauchos on their little mini pod today, and they were talking about this game and said, well, Houston kind of gave you that game. And I said, yeah, but the key is we didn't give it to them like we have in some of these other games.
Yeah.
That top of the 5th had me going to get to the fridge to get more long drink. I was like, we're not doing this. Like,
and yet another use for long drink.
Yeah, no, it's just like, but yeah, I would say this, it's very intriguing that we have a win on a foul ball sack fly and a win on a 2-hit day with 4 unearned runs. Like those, you take them when you get them because they don't come around very often. But at the same time, you want to see how well this team did for 2 days in a row. Like, hey, what, did we get relaxed and say, take a deep breath, like, all right, sweet. We the monkey's off our back. It's like, no, we got to keep punching. Because that to me looked like a game in years past where it was like the Sunday game versus Kansas, where you just took your foot off the gas.
I can't believe that game gets so much play.
We
talk about it.
It's true because it happened 3 years. It was like that game became like the difference between like a shared title, a solo title, getting the title. Like that to me, that's what this game looked like. Like we're going to take our foot off because we did it. And it's like, no, we got ground to make up. We need every one of these.
Martin, you were there with me at the game. Yeah. I felt like I kept getting excited every time we scored. And then I'd look up and go, oh shit, we have 2 hits, right. Total. So what were you thinking, during that game?
So at the game, I did think it was going to be one of those disappointments, but rewatched it last night. That pitcher was really good. He was probably their best pitcher. He was throwing 97 two-seamer with like 12 inches of fucking run.
Yeah. He looked really good on TV.
He had a nasty sweeper and a good change. Like, he's probably their best pitcher. It's weird that he's pitching on Sundays. We did have good at bats, and it's really weird to say this because it was such an awful defensive showing by both teams, but Houston did take away some hits from us. So it's not like we only hit 2 balls well. We hit the ball well. We had good at bats. We're not going to go back into that same rut. I think we did some good things.
Okay.
Now, Houston,
I'm really uplifted by this because I did not rewatch the game.
Yeah.
I took the sweep and ran.
Houston.
I like the words that you are speaking into your microphone.
When
right
you get
now.
the answer you want, you hang up the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Houston obviously gave us the game, and it was like one guy in particular.
And
Dude, what? Explain to me. I've never seen anything like that first baseman that just kind of got scared of the ball, cowered onto the bag, and curled up in the fetal position.
He
and let
I
the ball
think he
sail
tripped.
past him.
He tripped.
Okay, because
How mad?
the camera really didn't show that.
Yeah.
How pissed was the first baseman that got moved to the mound to come in and pitch, only to see the new first baseman come in and have piss roll down his legs?
Well, he shouldn't be that pissed because they took out the lefty that was wearing 42. They took him out in the middle of an at bat to Brunson because he threw a wild pitch, right? His first fucking pitch is a wild pitch that scores a run. So he shouldn't be mad at anyone. But
Yeah.
it was a very weird game, and it's a ton of mistakes were made by guys who did not start the game. Like when Chadnier was taken out of the game and they moved Ryder Robinson to third base and they put Micah Kendrick at second, you saw him not cover second on the stolen base.
Dude,
Well,
twice that happened.
Twice that happened, yes. Back-to-back innings with Ryder and Silva, and then Micah and Silva.
So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's on Silva. You got to communicate that, make sure the assignment's understood.
Well, I would imagine it was communicated in the fifth inning, but then the guy moved to another position, so maybe it wasn't communicated.
Well, no,
again.
okay. So as a short, like you're communicating that as soon as the guy gets on first, like every time, every situation, you're communicating that.
It looked like they had some trouble every time Houston showed the bunt.
That is true.
So then you had that, and then you had Kendrick had some crazy throws to first base, which Kendrick didn't start the game, and then you had the guy at first for Houston tripping and falling. He didn't start the game at first base. It was a very weird game.
The Kendrick thing was weird because the fans in the stands noticed him and were, I mean, I hate it for him as a person, right? But calling him out, saying, "Get that guy out of here," basically.
That sucks.
And
Don't
so
need that.
after a couple errors, or a couple mistakes, you're like, oh man, you never want to pinpoint it to one thing, right?
Well, I'm glad we didn't do that with Ryder when he had a tough first game.
Yeah, and he looked awesome. He had some great plays this weekend. But again, playing time. Kendrick hasn't had a lot of playing time, so
No. And he's not used to the environment mentally. Because you saw it with Ryder. Ryder had to adjust.
I have a question for you guys about Houston. Do you think they're going to improve in the Big 12, or do you think they'll maintain over time?
You mean over the years or the season?
Well, not this season. I mean, it's hard to project.
Because, buddy, I got bad news for you this season. I have simulated the rest of their schedule. It's not good.
Okay.
Really, you think so? I think they're going to be annoying because I think they have two really good pitchers on their staff.
Well, okay. I hope you're right because they have Oklahoma State, Tech, Kansas,
I think they're going to be in a full gut job
Texas
here pretty quick.
Ray, what you got before we get to Big 12 stuff?
I just want to commend Martin for his preseason not even a prediction of what he wanted. He knew Ryder Robinson was the best second baseman on this team. Said so on this pod, and my goodness, is he not the best second baseman on this team?
I mean, yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. That was weird, Ray, because I didn't even see him play second base.
You just knew.
He was playing third base all fall.
Well, we're mixing around.
But you had, whenever you, at the beginning of the year, you said Ryder Robinson's going to be playing second base.
Yeah.
Mark it down. That's a win. All right. How does TCU win the Big 12? I think a lot of us are thinking of like, hey, let's just get to the postseason. Let's get to a regional.
That's extremely reasonable. But why do that when you can win the conference?
You do some research. Let's figure out how to win the damn conference.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just give an overview of where we are. So TCU currently sitting at 5-7. That's good for 9th in the Big 12. Now that's an improvement from what 13th where we stood this time last week?
Yes.
So, I posted the meme of Batman crawling out of the prison in the Batman movie where he's trying to crawl out of that hole. That's TCU right now. So 13th to 9th, Oklahoma sits at top at 7-2. It's a little weird given the additional bye week. There's like mixed schedules, so you don't have an equal number of games played week to week. So like TCU's played 12 games, Oklahoma's only played 9. But I went through and did my best, just trying to project week over week who's going to win what matchup. So best case, I think, for TCU is they only drop 3 more games for the rest of the year. So that'll put them at.
That is tough.
Did you say best
Well, all
case?
right. Let's break it down then. So
We're sweeping 6 people, and we're losing
on.
one. We're getting
hold
split.
on. All right. So
Best
here's
case
what I
is
got.
we don't lose a game, according to Warren Nolan.
Best
Hey.
case, they just sweep their way on.
Simply never lose again.
It may surprise you to learn that I have. I hold on. I'll get there. So they've lost the series to OSU, swept by OU, lost a series to Kansas, and swept Houston. Okay, so that leaves them remaining. They have Cincinnati. They go to Cincinnati. They win 2 of 3. Next, they have Texas Tech at home. Sweep them. I'm not saying like, yeah, obviously we're going to sweep Texas Tech at home. I'm saying you want to win the
Best case.
conference.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to probably have to do.
Yep.
Sweep Texas Tech at home. Who's after that? Okay, Texas. Yeah. Got to go to Austin. You got to win 2 of 3.
I think that's actually doable, considering how bad Texas is as well.
Well,
So,
yeah, but Texas is as bad as they are or whatever. They're 6-3 right now in the conference. That puts them tied for second. And they have some pretty favorable matchups coming up, but we can get back to them in a minute. So I don't really remember the order after that. It's Baylor, I believe.
after Texas is Kansas State.
Kansas State. That's at Lupton. They don't win at Lupton. Got to continue that. Sweep them.
Baylor at home or at Baylor.
Okay, it's on the road. Baylor's been semi-pesky. Let's take 2 of 3.
And then
Baylor has been pesky in Waco.
Exactly. Go win
Yeah.
2 of 3. Go win
the
2 of 3 on the road.
The Tuesday game against Baylor, that does not count as a conference game.
No, it
is
does
that
not. It
Right.
does not.
And then
You got to win it.
And then they host West Virginia to end the
Sweep.
Yeah.
Got to sweep that one at home. You can't lose another
Oh,
conference game at Lupton. You got to go to Cincinnati, Texas, and Baylor and win 2 of 3.
That
That's
West
good.
Virginia one. That West Virginia one will be tough.
I don't
whether
care. Winning the
Hope will be
conference,
back.
winning the conference at what 5-7? That's going to be tough. This is the tough, narrow road, but possible road. So who are the contenders? Oklahoma State.
Yes.
You need them. You need them to lose a series to K-State. Need them to lose a series to Texas because they have Cincinnati at home. They have BYU and Houston. Those are likely sweeps. So I don't know where they're going to drop games, but it needs to. You need K-State and Texas. You have. Let's see. Let's go to Texas, right? So they have BYU this weekend. It would really help if BYU could steal one, but I have that down as a sweep for Texas. And I don't have them losing a series except for TCU because they play UCF, they play Kansas, they play Houston, OU, OSU, and then, of course, TCU. Now, you could flip one of the OU or OSU series and say they'll lose that one. Well, then you're going to need, OU to drop a game. But kind of the way I've all played it out, just to make a long story longer, TCU finishes at 20-10. That puts them in a 4-way tie for first, and we raise the banner, baby.
Perk, how does it feel knowing you're going to have to root for Pete Hughes in some of these scenarios?
Won't do it. I won't do it.
So
We're
K-State, I have them
taking-
finishing 18-12, thanks to that sweep at Lupton.
We're taking the 2 seed into Globe Life. We're going bottom of the bracket, and we're going to make a run. Okay, boys. I'd rather have the tournament trophy, anyways. Okay, rather have that one.
TCU, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Real question about that. If you win the tournament, trophy, does that matter, or do you care about the regular season? Like, what is there a different feel in terms of one or the other?
You get a trophy. I mean, there's years. So TCU's got a couple double dips. The year that we shared, and then we won the tournament. So like, you got the double dip. Heartbreaking that year in Manhattan. They had, because every team has a replica of the Big 12 trophy, like a blank one basically, and so they had it out like right outside the dugout for the team to celebrate on the field for winning the championships. And then
dude, Halen Green was coming in.
Halen Green had his worst inning of his TCU career. And the guy that hit the home run to win it tore his ACL celebrating.
Dude, my dad doesn't watch a ton of TCU baseball games, but I was with him that weekend, so he was watching it with me, and I was like, "Oh, they're about to win it. They're about to win it." And he was they lose, like, well, that's tough. And then he changed the channel.
I'm just glad like this year it wasn't like this scenario didn't happen and we were set up for another ending season in Manhattan. I'm like, if you'd have told me that that's how it was going to shake out with the schedule, so I'm like, yeah, we're not winning it. We're rolling. Like, we got bad juju out there.
But I think realistic, like I did this scenario and maybe it happens, or maybe maybe Texas doesn't win every series and teams beat each other up, and maybe the road's even easier than I, projected. Or maybe we fall a game or two short. We still get hot. We're still rolling into the postseason, but it's like, God dang, man, we really shot ourselves in the foot in those first 3 weeks.
I mean, I don't think any of these scenarios are off the table, as weird as the Big 12 has been to start conference play.
It has been weird, but it's still with the extra week, we're only a third of the way through the schedule.
So we're saying at minimum, we need 2 sweeps.
We need 3 sweeps.
3 sweeps. Okay.
They're all at home. You got to sweep all your home series.
I think you got to sweep Cincinnati and Cincinnati.
Okay, if you do that,
you can afford another loss to Texas,
to West Virginia or Texas, right?
Yeah.
Well, then it plays out. Maybe Texas has 21 wins and you finish with 20. I don't know.
The Tech one at home doesn't feel like it's a stretch. I mean, we've done it before. Tech doesn't play well outside. I think
they're actually bad. I don't think this is a TCU cold streak. I think TCU is actually good. I think Tech is actually bad.
Dude, I think Tech is really bad. Yeah. Shout out Ben Upton.
They have no hope on the mound right now, and their hitters are not hitting. So,
shout out Ben Upton for picking Texas Tech to win the Big 12 this year.
That's when I knew Tech was going to be bad.
Well, it's also like, Jacob, you're talking about, it's like we got to catch these teams at the right time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're slumping, we got to catch them when they're slumping, keep them in that pocket. Don't catch them when they pop. And so, like, it's also about that. It's like we got to catch these teams when they're slipping a little bit to make up those games. And, it's just, but yeah, you're right. Just the series loss to Kansas to getting swept by Oklahoma. That's where
it's tough, man. That you in most years will eliminate you from winning a conference, but I do think, like we talked about, I swear it was like 365 days ago. Hey, hang in there. TCU's still really good. I know it sucked, but it's going to fix itself. I think TCU is still good, and I think we've already gotten some help. Nobody's really running away with it yet.
Do you want to hear Texas Tech upcoming schedule?
Why not?
So they've got 2 against Stanford this week. Stanford's kind of down this year. Houston comes to Danlaw, and then they come to TCU in 2 weeks. Then they go to Arkansas right after for 2, and then West Virginia comes to Lubbock right after that. That is a tough. That may be, the nail in the coffin.
How much? I mean, we're playing, future games anyways. How many Big 12 teams do you think make it?
Not many at this point.
Let's go by my scenario here.
Just make it.
I think just make
5.
it. You think 5?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. So I have a 4-way tie for the conference title that's Oklahoma State, OU, Texas, and TCU. And then coming in just behind them is K-State at 18-12. Then it really kind of falls off. You have West Virginia at 16-14. I think Martin's 5 is pretty reasonable.
I don't know. West Virginia kind of feels like a tournament team.
All right, so I'll tell you who they have left.
Healthy.
All right, hold on. So they have K-State. They have Cincinnati, UCF, and TCU. Am I missing?
Where's
any?
the UCF
Oh, Baylor.
series at?
They have Baylor.
Where's the
Where's-
UCF?
It is. I have UCF winning it. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah,
Is it in Morgantown or is it in?
No, I have UCF winning it, so I'm pretty sure it's in Orlando.
Because man, for whatever reason, UCF is really tough at home.
Well, Garrett previewed them, or I think it was Garrett, right?
That was me.
Oh, it was you. But I know in our preview we talked about they can be pretty annoying.
Yeah, we had them.
I have them finishing 14 and 17.
I mean, we talk about like difference in games and stuff like that.
I
Like
guess that's
literally
13
last
and
year,
17.
that series for West Virginia at Texas changed their season. It changed their one game, win one game, be the 1 seed, win this tournament. You're hosting a regional. You're not a 2 seed. It's like that whole. I mean, you can literally pinpoint like that was the point where the season fell off.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like everything's. The good news is everything's in front of us. The only one where we're obviously chasing OSU and stuff like that, but like the other ones, like they're in front of us. Like we control our hands with that one. So it's always better. To be in that
I
position.
think OU could be a problem because they've they've already done what they did to us.
But
They have K-State, Texas Tech, Texas, Baylor. Is this right? Cincinnati and BYU. Yeah, I think they've only played.
But Oklahoma's capable of just dropping 6 games for no reason.
Dude,
Like,
I mean, look at them this past weekend. They get swept by Lamar
At
in
home.
Norman.
in front of 12 people.
So does that mean we're worse than Lamar? I'm trying to.
Yeah, I may have
property would
OU
say
a little
that we
too
are-
high.
We're now a mid-major, MK. We're now an mid-major.
Do we have Lamar as a midweek this year?
I don't think we do actually. No,
Because Lamar is actually
Lamar is
good.
legit.
I
We
think they've
should
got
be-
like 5 losses on the year.
We
should be
are
transfer portal.
we are ducking Lamar
scouting.
this year.
Okay, Jacob, we talked about best case scenario.
hmm
What's the most
Oh, no.
reasonable case scenario?
Oh, I thought you were going to say worst case.
Well,
That you finished-
you know what? I want to keep it positive. We've had a great weekend of winning
right,
some games.
well,
I don't want to turn this negative. I want to hear, hey, you know what? This is probably what's going to happen. We're going to win some games. We're going to lose some games, and this is where we might end up at the end of the season. Did
So
you
let's
map
say
that out at all?
okay. Let's say you don't sweep anybody.
What?
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. Keep going.
I mean, you're going to need some sweeps, dog, because that drops you to 17 and 13. Now you're kind of on the fringe of, you're going to get in the tournament, but you're going to get a shitty draw. You might be heading back to Fayetteville. And I don't want to play this year's version of Hagen Smith.
He's probably a little upset about last year.
Yeah. I mean, but I think if we finish with just barely above 500 in conference play, we're not going to be feeling all that great no matter where we get sent to. So,
is a 500 or better conference record, is that enough?
I don't think it is.
15 wins, but you're going to need 2 in the tournament.
Because right now we have West Virginia as the 6th team. All right. As the 5th team. No, 6th team. You have Kansas at 17 and 13, West Virginia at 16 and 14. They're probably getting left out, and their fans are mad online about it.
Pretty
But
awesome that
TCU's non-conference record has to mean something.
But if they're playing
not
500
good.
ball in Big 12 play, it's going to catch up to them in the midweeks. They're going to start dropping those games. At least one here or there, not all of them, but
We need to not play RGV.
I mean, they have DBU in a couple weeks
for RPI purposes.
They have 2 games against
I know.
them, I think.
Just we skip.
Cancel them for COVID down south.
Skip. It rained.
But I think with the way Tully and Rodriguez are pitching, you're in 2 games every weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. Finally, 2. At this point, you finally have 2 weekend starters that you actually feel comfortable with going
And
forward.
Maybe Klecker doesn't return to last year's form, but he's good enough on Sundays that he's better than any other, third pitcher that we go up against.
What's our expectation for Sundays?
Chaos.
I mean, Klecker has it in him.
Martin,
Well, I was
you
going
have
to
an
ask this
idea?
question, like, legitimately, do we think last year was his ceiling?
Well, even if it is, I'll take it.
Yeah,
But
it's
let
it's not a
Martin-
terrible ceiling.
Well,
The
I'm
thing is,
just
he's
saying
not-
because the law, the rules are, it's like the pendulum has to swing back.
Exactly.
So it's like,
if that's his ceiling, he's not going to stay at his ceiling.
Well,
I
you
think
could
that's
say the
point.
same for Lewis and Tully. Like, if their ceiling is complete game shutouts, then
But I think you look at, and I say this all the time, like for specifically for Lewis can win games based on his off speed because this stuff is good enough to win in the stuff games. You know, we always talk about the stuff games. Like, it's like if he's got that, like even if his fastball command's down, his cutter can win matchups on a regular basis. His slider, like his changeup, like he can win with different pitches. Where I feel like watching Klecker, it's like if everything is not in sync, there's nowhere for him to go. You know.
yeah, I think
his fastball is a little straight, and his breaking ball can hang. It was at the belt a lot to Houston, and they just really didn't take advantage of it those first 4 innings, and then it all came around that 5th inning, and we lost.
yeah,
the
to
lead.
me, it's that breaking ball of his that concerns me the most because
Like-
it is so hittable.
I watched the series, the Georgia-Tennessee series. Like, are we put him out there against either one of those teams?
Oh my
Like,
gosh, Charlie, what's it?
Condon.
yeah,
Condon, dude,
Yeah.
he's bat flipping all weekend or all Sunday.
yeah. It's like we put him out there against those teams, and it's like, no, like that's a lot. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it from not just what we have in front of us, but like what is out there that we're going to have to face to get where we want to go, type situation.
Martin, what would you do on Sundays?
Long term, I'm thinking like what Perk brought up. I'm putting Bixby in the Sunday spot, and then moving Klecker either to midweek or into the bullpen, because right now we're kind of light in the bullpen.
Okay, let's go there. So someone tweeted us and asked for an injury update. I said that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Martin, I asked you to try to do some research and give us any information you can. So we kind of have a laundry list of guys at this point. So what do you got?
So this is every injury that's public right now. Cohen Feaster had Tommy John in the fall. Blake Rogers, I don't know if he had Tommy John, but he needs Tommy John. That was in the spring. Hunter Hodges, after he threw like 3 innings against Oklahoma, he strained his oblique in the weight room. He's been out a couple weeks already.
Damn, that's news to me.
Yeah, he's been out a couple weeks already. He might be back in a week or two.
Okay, well, I was sad and now I'm glad. It all in like 2 seconds because I didn't even think about. We haven't seen Hunter Hodges.
But we never see Hunter Hodges. It's so weird, right? Like we never see him, and then we do see him, and then he's hurt.
Yeah.
Then Brody Green, we talked about this. He re-injured his groin. No timeline. Don't expect to see Brody Green soon.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Kyle Ayers, UCL injury in Oklahoma. He's going to need Tommy John surgery.
That looked pretty apparent. I hate playing like TV doctor, but
Yeah.
you can usually tell when an elbow goes.
Yeah. Peyton Chatinier pulled his hamstring. Could be out 2 days. Could be out a couple weeks. Could be out the rest of the
He's
season.
already playing with a torn labrum. I expect him to be out there tomorrow.
Yeah. Could be. Ray said that Kirk in an interview, or was that Ray? Maybe I heard it somewhere else. I think Kirk said we're going to see more of Micah Kendrick at second.
It wasn't for me.
Due to the hamstring.
Okay.
I saw just some inside. I saw Peyton at church, and he had a smile on his face. So that's all I want to say. He feels good.
Then
He feels good.
That was because of the Lord, not because of baseball. There's more to life than baseball.
We had the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and the TCU baseball team in the same.
I'm just saying,
weekend.
if he is risen and he means Peyton Chatinier, that's all. I'm just connecting the two together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a season ender because he was still walking after it happened. He wasn't carried out of the stadium, but Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It'll be all right.
6.
Oh man,
That's just a lot of injuries, though, dude. Like those kind of stacked up.
Yeah.
Those injuries stacked up kind of quick. It seems like.
I feel like we should.
that's all I know.
We need to end this segment by talking about the injuries that each of us have personally. Is there anyone struggling with stuff? You know, we're all in our 30s and 40s at this point. So, what are y'all dealing with?
Oh, dude, I got a brother. Started a new job this week, and my back, my knees, dude, it's all barking at me.
Go ahead.
I hurt my finger playing goalie in soccer last fall, and it has not gotten any better. I have no idea what is like. If it was broken, it should have been healed already, but it is still as swollen and stiff as it was 2 days after I heard it.
Remind me to take the over on your next match.
Well, I thought I had just jammed it. You know, it was I made a save playing goalie.
That goalie sucks.
Humble brag.
I don't own gloves. No, dude, I'm like the third string goalie. I don't even own gloves. I was just kind of filling in for a minute. And I made a save.
We're taking prop bets at this point.
Hold on. You're filling in for a minute. What happened to 1 and 2? You're just filling in.
Yeah, no, I think
was that too many long drinks?
I think they were both running late for the game, and then they showed up, and I got out of there real quick and went back to playing no defense striker. I don't play defense. I score goals, baby.
Messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Fellas, we talked about a lot of stuff tonight. What else is I'm going to call out each of you individually. What's left on your note board for tonight? Garrett, anything left that you want to chat about before we head out of here?
No, man. I think we covered it all. I just want to keep winning baseball games. That felt really, really nice this past couple of days. So let's keep those coming, please. More of that.
Ray, what you got?
We said last week we're starting a stretch where we felt like we needed to win 11 straight, or was it maybe 8 straight?
Yeah, I said I don't even care about the midweeks right now.
Yeah,
just give me the 9. Give me the 9 conference games.
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten 3 of them.
Yep.
Martin?
So far this year, we have faced the top 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, and 10 ERAs in the Big 12.
Well, that's because they faced us, right?
I mean, we're a third of the way in.
So we're only getting easier stats from here, is what you're saying.
I think so, but one of them, Gene Antone, he was like second, and we tore his ass up.
That's true.
Perk,
Some Skyline
anything
chili
else left on your note board? Coach's note board tonight.
I think that we're to a point now with the injuries we have, and that I think we're going to have to see a lot of production out of Cademan Parker for this team to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Good
and
point.
I think it's time that he showed what he's recruited for and supposed to be about. And for him, I think now is the opportunity that he's going to see, and we're going to need it.
Dude, on that,
I like
isn't
that.
it weird we haven't seen Andrew Mosiello really at all?
I don't know.
He's been effective when he's been in.
Not really.
Oh, I forgot one last thing. Luke Boyer's hitting 387 in conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the snaps for Luke Boyers.
Snaps, chakras, whatever sacrifices we need.
Big 12 clutch. All you have to do is shave your head and you're clutch, my friends.
That's the ticket.
Shaved head Luke Boyers.
Jacob, what you got?
Yeah, I was earlier today. I was on with the Beer Cats, the Cincinnati pod, and they're kind of new to college baseball. It's pretty cool to see new enthusiasm from these teams joining the Big 12. Good dudes. Go listen to their podcast. They're at Beer Cats on Twitter, I believe. But they, and they said, we're new to baseball, but it feels like our 4-5 record is what it is, but we haven't really been tested. And they're looking forward to seeing where their team is at this weekend. And I said, I agree. I want to see if TCU has actually turned the corner, or are they going to revert back to the same crap that we saw in the first 3 weeks? I think this is an extremely telling and interesting week coming up in Houston. I think if we go up there and play really well, then Cincinnati, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we go up to Cincinnati and play really well, then I think the team is officially back on track, and good times ahead. So
Good stuff. Frogs travel to Arlington tomorrow night to take on the 12 and 16 Mavs for the second time this year. Then they head up to Cincinnati for the weekend series, which is obviously the most important thing, Friday through Sunday. But fellas, thanks to Long Drink. Thank you to Hell's Half Acre. It was a pleasure to speak baseball, talk ball with
we
you
love
guys.
speaking baseball.
As always, we'll end this pod on a good note. 3-0 on the week. Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Oh yeah.
And I can't
Dude.
believe, Martin, I got to tell you the story from the weekend. It